Is KI0AR. Does anyone need to use the repeater system or repeater systems before I begin this evening's Colorado Astronomy Net? Please go ahead now. Calling the Colorado Astronomy Net, calling the Colorado Astronomy Net. This is KI0AR. My name is Bernice, and I'll be your net control for this evening's Colorado Astronomy Net. Just a reminder, the 3-minute timeout function is still in effect, so during the long transmissions, please allow the repeater systems to reset themselves. Also, please use the word break for emergency or priority traffic. If there is any emergency or priority traffic, please go ahead now. Okay, nothing heard. This is KI0AR net control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. This net meets every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 0100 Zulu, on the SkyHub Link system of repeaters. You can check that out, skyhublink.com, for more ways to check in. And we discuss topics of an astronomical nature, what's up in the night skies for the week, any other special events that may be of interest to the amateur radio astronomy enthusiasts around the world. Also, this is one of the few nets where your check-in does count. I tally up the numbers and send them off to JPL at the end of each month. Counts as part of their outreach to the general public, of which we are a part. So all check-ins are definitely appreciated. I take check-ins several ways. I'll take them via NetLogger. So if you have NetLogger, you're more than welcome to hop on there and I'll get you checked in. I am also on YouTube. And for those of you who are checking in via YouTube, please include your call sign in the chat window and I'll get you officially checked into that. You can send me an email to ki0ar@ki0ar.com. Let me know you're out there listening as well. And I'm also going to take them over the air in just a few minutes, but several ways that you can check into the net tonight. And this is KI0AR net control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Got one more thing to do here, just a sec. This is KI0AR net control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. I'll go ahead and acknowledge several check-ins that I already have. Don't see anybody over on YouTube just yet, but we'll go ahead and acknowledge Jack, KE0VH, thanks for checking in tonight. Paul, WA7GVL, thanks for checking in tonight. Doug, K0ATP, thanks for checking in tonight. John, down in Australia, great to see y'all checking in tonight, John. VK3HJQ, thanks for checking in tonight. Using a new app called QSO1. Well, we'll see how that works, John. You can definitely let us know. But definitely appreciate you checking in tonight. And we got Rip, K3XO, thanks for checking in tonight. I'll go ahead and pause here to see if anyone else wishes to check in over the air. We'll wait for right now. Anyone wishing to check into tonight's Colorado Astronomy Net, please call with your call sign phonetically twice.
November Victor 7 Sierra Sierra. November Victor 7 Sierra Sierra. Again in Nevada. Not over the air. 3, Charlie, Bravo. Over.
Okay, had some garbled transmissions there. I did not get full call signs, unfortunately, so I don't know what's going on with that. But I did get David, WE8M, thanks for checking in tonight. Wesley, KF4WLQ, thanks for checking in tonight. There was a Kilo Zero Golf, and I think that they said Mark in there. If you could... if you could give me a call sign phonetically twice, could be maybe 3 or 4 times, we'll see. I'll get you on the list there. Go ahead.
Kilo, Zero, Golf, Lima, Romeo. Kilo, 0, Golf, Lima, Romeo, Mark, out of Drake, Colorado. I live in a canyon. It can be tough at times.
All right, Mark, solid copy on that. K0GLR, thanks for checking in tonight. Victor Alpha 3 something something Bravo. If you could come back with your call sign, sir, I'll get you on the list. Go ahead.
Yeah, the call sign for that was Victor Alpha 3, Charlie, Lima, Bravo. Now there's MDA3 CLB. And I'm mobile portable. And my name is Chris.
Okay, good evening to you, Christopher. VA3CLB, thanks for checking in from mobile up in Ontario there. Do appreciate it. My name is Bernice. That's Bravo Uniform Romeo November Echo Sierra Sierra, and the call sign Kilowatt India 0 Alpha Romeo. Welcome to the Colorado Astronomy Net. Thanks for letting us ride along with you as well tonight. I always like to touch base with my first time check-ins. I see that as a new call on the list, so again, welcome. And find out a little bit more about your interest, background in astronomy if you can while you're mobile. Whether you're just starting out looking at the stars, or you've been doing it for decades like I have. I've been doing this net for over 30 years now, so always like to touch base with first timers and find out a little bit about your interest and background in astronomy. If you don't mind sharing that with us, Christopher, please go ahead. VA3CLB, go ahead. All right, Christopher, thanks for checking in tonight, and we hopefully you can stick around. Check out skyhublink.com for more ways that you can check into the net as well. Don't know what you're coming through tonight, but again, welcome. Got some interesting stuff for you tonight. Go ahead and acknowledge John, W2JLS, thanks for checking in tonight, and Daniel, KF0WXE, thanks for checking in tonight. I'll look for check-ins a little bit later on. As we progress, we got a little late start tonight, so apologies for that. But announcements. I publish a monthly astronomy newsletter via email and the World Wide Web. If you wish to subscribe to the email version of my newsletter, please send me an email to ki0ar@ki0ar.com and request to be, let's see, excuse me, and where was I? Oh, sorry. You can check out the webpage at www.ki0ar.com/astro.html. And at the top of the webpage is also a spot where you may submit your email address and get subscribed to the email version of the newsletter as well. You can send me an email to ki0ar@ki0ar.com and request to be put on the list. If you don't want to remember all that, just Google my call sign, KI0AR. You'll find a whole bunch of links, including links to the webpage and the newsletter. I also volunteer with a youth group called the International Association for Astronomical Studies, a youth group that, we're losing our Australia connection. John, 73 to you too. So have a good afternoon. I volunteer with a youth group called the International Association for Astronomical Studies youth group that meets out at Strasburg, Colorado on Friday evenings from 6 until 8 p.m. Always looking for new members, freshmen through senior high school age students interested in astronomy, amateur radio, high power rocketry, remote control aircraft flying, full-scale aircraft construction, archaeoastronomy and radio astronomy, and balloon launch communications. More than welcome to check out our webpage at iaas.org for more information. And okay, just a sec. Apologies, just timed out. For more information, check out iaas.org. We also have a Facebook presence under the same name, the International Association for Astronomical Studies. Also a reminder that the Colorado Astronomy Net has a Facebook page as well. So if you happen to have Facebook, be sure to hop on there and like us both. Also, the IAAS has a call sign, K0AAS, so if you happen to hear them on the air, be sure to give them a shout and say, hey, ask them what projects they're doing. On Mondays and Wednesdays, you may want to check out Jack, KE0VH's YouTube channel, Captain Jack Flight Sim, CAPNJACKFLTSIM, Captain Jack Flight Sim. Mondays and Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. until landing. Always has some interesting flights there to share with others, other flight simmers, amateur radio operators, whoever happens to be interested in riding along with him for sure. Definitely check that out. And he's got a whole bunch of previous flights as well. I'm not seeing anything over on YouTube tonight, but I did see a subscriber poke up, so I do appreciate that. So I'm wondering why I'm not seeing anything over on the chat. I'll just say hello over there. Okay, that's working. So that's working. Anyone over on YouTube tonight, be sure to say hey in the chat window and I'll get you checked in. Right now, I'm going to get the get the local astronomical news started in just a sec for that. I'll look for check-ins a little bit later on. If you're on YouTube or NetLogger, you can check in that way. I'll get you on the list, no problems. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Now for the local astronomical news. Start off as usual with the phases of the moon. We had a last quarter moon on the 7th. We've got a new moon today. So the moon is setting with the sun. So you won't see the moon until tomorrow. If you're lucky, it'll be a very, very thin crescent on the western horizon. If you've never seen the thinnest moon, about the thinnest moon you can see, definitely check out tomorrow evening. A very thin sliver of a moon just above the horizon soon after sunset. Going to be very difficult to spot, but always interesting to take a look at if you can catch that. We got our first quarter moon coming up on the 21st and a full moon on the 29th. The moon was at perigee, its closest approach to the Earth yesterday. It was 142 miles from Earth. The moon will be at apogee, its farthest point away from the Earth this month. On the 25th, it will be 251,996 miles from Earth. Planetary highlights for July. Venus and Jupiter remain visible in the evening sky soon after sunset early in July, although Jupiter fairly quickly drops out of sight. In the morning sky, there's lots of planetary action. Saturn rises earlier now, placing in a dark sky for a couple of hours. There's a wonderful conjunction between Mars and Uranus on July 4th. Unfortunately, we missed that one. If you've never seen Uranus before, this conjunction makes it easy. Finally, Mercury rounds the sun and reappears in the morning sky in the last few days of the month. Excerpt is from Astronomy Magazine, July 2026, page 34. On with the planets. We got Mercury. Okay, we got Mercury was at inferior conjunction on the 12th. That means it was between us and the sun, so it was actually closest to us that day. And let's see, Mercury will be stationary on the 23rd. After conjunction, Mercury returns to the morning sky, rising about 4:31 a.m. by month's end. It's actually rising about 5:44 a.m., which is 1 minute earlier than the sun. So you definitely will not see Mercury like the highlights for July stated, that you won't see it until the last few days of the month. In the early morning hours before sunrise, about 30 minutes before sunrise. During the last week of the month, Mercury is in the constellation of Gemini, shining at magnitude 0.5 on the 31st. Quick tutorial on magnitudes. The magnitude scale is an inverse logarithmic scale, meaning as the magnitude increases in value, the apparent brightness of an object decreases by a factor of about 2.5. The dimmest object that the human eye can see under optimal conditions is about 6th magnitude. So a magnitude 5 object is 2.5 times brighter than a magnitude 6 object, while a magnitude 7 object is 2.5 times dimmer, and you will definitely need binoculars or a telescope to spot it. Any of these objects with magnitudes less than 6, definitely you can, well, if you're in the middle of the city like I am, lower than about 4th magnitude, you should be able to see with the naked eye. But definitely get your telescopes and binoculars out of and take a look at these bright objects, and you may be able to see some details that you don't see with the naked eye. Venus is setting about 10:38 p.m. this week. Look for Venus to the west about 30 minutes after sunset. It's going to be high towards the west as well, very prominent. Could be your first object you're going to see in the night sky. Venus moves from the constellation of Leo into Virgo, shining at magnitude -4.2. The Earth was at aphelion, its farthest point away from the Sun, back on the 6th. The Earth was 94.5 million miles away from the Sun. From Mars, we got Mars rising about 2:45 a.m. This week. Look for Mars to the southeast in the morning about 30 minutes before sunrise. Mars was in conjunction with Uranus on the 4th. Let's see, Mars is in the constellation of Taurus, shining at magnitude 1.3. And right now, Uranus is rising about 25 minutes before Mars, so it's still pretty close. So you may be able to still catch that just slightly above it towards the east. We got Jupiter will be in conjunction with the Sun on the 29th. Jupiter is setting about 9 p.m. this week. After conjunction, Jupiter returns to the morning sky, rising about 5:49 a.m. by month's end. By the time the Sun sets, Jupiter is in the western sky, rapidly approaching the horizon. Jupiter is visible during the first 2 weeks of the month, then disappears into the evening twilight glow. You may still be able to see it, but it's going to be very, very low on the horizon. It's setting about 35 minutes after the Sun. So it's going to be very difficult to spot for the rest of the month. Jupiter's in the constellation of Cancer, shining at magnitude 1.8. In fact, don't expect to see Jupiter until after mid-month in the morning sky, mid-month in August. We got Saturn will be stationary on the 27th, meaning that it neither appears to move forward nor backward relative to the background skies. Saturn is rising about 12:30 a.m. this week. Look for Saturn towards the south in the morning before sunrise. Saturn is in the constellation of Pisces, shining at magnitude 0.7. And we got Uranus rising about 2:20 a.m. This week. Look for Uranus to the southeast in the morning before sunrise. Uranus is in the constellation of Taurus, shining at magnitude 5.8. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Continuing, we got Neptune was stationary on the 7th. Neptune is rising about 11:40 p.m. This week. Look for Neptune towards the south in the morning sky before sunrise. Neptune is in the constellation of Pisces, shining at magnitude 7.7. The reason I'm telling you to look south is give some time for the planets to rise, and they will be at their best towards the south. So it'll take them several hours to get there. We got dwarf planets. We have Ceres. Ceres rising about 3:30 a.m. this week. Ceres can be spotted low to the southeast in the morning sky before sunrise. Ceres is in the constellation of Taurus, shining at magnitude 9.0. And then we got Pluto will be at opposition on the 27th, rising as the sun sets. Pluto is now rising about 9:20 p.m. in the early evening. Pluto can be spotted to the south before sunrise as well. So give it about 2, 3 a.m. when it's going to be highest towards the south. Pluto appears at its best for the year in late July. Pluto is in the constellation of Capricornus, shining at magnitude 15.0. As always, good luck at spotting Neptune, Ceres, and Pluto. Large telescope and dark skies will be needed. And you'll definitely need lots and lots of patience to spot Pluto, and a very large light bucket, meaning a telescope with a mirror, a 12-inch diameter mirror or better or greater to spot Pluto, and lots of patience from night to night to see which little dot moves relative to the background skies. All right. Meteor showers. Oh, we're just starting to get into the July, August meteor shower activity. We got the southern Delta Aquarids. This meteor shower has a duration of July 14th through August 18th. Maximum hourly rates of 15 to 20 occur on July 28th, 29th. So now's the time to start seeing if you can spot some of those coming up. We got the northern Delta Aquarids extends from July 16th through September 10th. Maximum occurs on August 13th. Hourly rates reach a high of 10. We do have the Perseid meteor shower to look forward to in August. That covers the span of about August 5th through the 19th or thereabouts, peaking on August 12th. So, you have the northern Delta Aquarids peaking just a day later than the Perseids. The Perseids is one of the best for the year. You can expect to see 60 to 80 meteors per hour during the peak, and it's one of those meteors that you're going to continually see meteors streaking through the skies about 1 week before as well as 1 week after on a continuous basis, even in the evenings. So we're looking forward to that. We do have a comet, Comet 10P. Temple, or Temple 2, is shining around 7th magnitude, passing through the constellations of Aquarius into Capricornus. Later in the evening, you may be able to see that. It's rapidly approaching the southern horizon. Still, you'll need some dark skies. Right now is a good time with the new moon. Today, we're going to have some fairly dark skies for the next several days for sure, and then for about a week. So a good time to get out there and look at those morning, actually for another week and a half for sure, those morning objects for sure, and the moon will not interfere. And that's it for the local astronomical news. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Okay, just looking over there. Over on YouTube, I saw, okay, we got Doug. Doug checked in over here. All right. And he said, hello, Ed. So, Ed, if you're over there on YouTube, say hi. And let me know you're out there, and I'll get you checked in onto the net officially there. Right now, I'll go ahead and pause here before I get into the bulletins for this evening. Anyone else wishing to check into tonight's Colorado Astronomy Net, please call with your call sign phonetically twice.
This is Kilo 0, Mike Charlie Whiskey. Kilo 0,
Okay, the only one I got was Tony, K0MCW. Thanks for checking in tonight, Tony. There was a very broken up signal in there, and then one night that got no audio from after that. However, I am looking at the activity board, and I'm seeing a November 3 G Golf Whiskey Golf. I don't know if that call is out there. If you are and tried to check in, definitely respond with your call sign phonetically twice. Go ahead.
3 Golf Whiskey Golf. November 3 Golf Whiskey Golf. My name is Stuart. You copy?
Stuart, yes, we got you. November 3 Golf Whiskey Golf. Thanks for checking in tonight. That's a new call on the list, so welcome to the Colorado Astronomy Net. Appreciate you checking in tonight. I always like to touch base with my first time check-ins, find out a little bit about your background interest in astronomy, whether you're just starting out, just looking at the stars, if you got a passing interest, or you've been doing it for 30 years or longer, done some studying, things like that. Again, my name is Bernice. That's Bravo, Uniform, Romeo, November, Echo, Sierra, Sierra, and the call sign Kilowatt India 0, Alpha, Romeo. Welcome to the net, Stuart. Tell us a little bit about your background interest in astronomy. Go ahead, please.
Absolutely. I would start off by saying that my interest is more tilted towards cosmology as opposed to astronomy per se, but certainly both are interests of mine. My formal training is I'm a computer scientist. It's the area of science I'm involved in. I do a lot of, there are a number of areas of science that I'm involved with and study, physics as well, and archaeology and some of the sciences. But I would say astronomy and cosmology, besides computer science, are towards the top with physics. And I don't have a telescope at this point. I have had them in the past. I've also gone to some public telescopes at the Franklin Institute in Philadelphia many times, to the, the name of the telescope is escaping me, in Los Angeles. And certainly all of that interests me. I hope I didn't do anything wrong by checking in when I did, because we never called for digital check-ins. We called for on-air check-ins. We called for YouTube check-ins, but never for digital check-ins. I'm coming in via digital, so I hope that I haven't violated the net's etiquette in any way. N3 GWG, Stuart, you're in Las Vegas, Nevada.
No worries, Stuart. Yeah, I'm just taking check-ins as I get them. Any way, any mode, anyhow. I do take them. If you have NetLogger, I'll take them there. If you have YouTube and want to post over there, I'll take them. I'll take them via email if you're out there listening. Analog, digital, whatever mode you happen to be working on. The Skyhub link has got all different ways to check in. So no worries about that, Stuart. Yeah, I'm a retired software engineer myself, aerospace and industry. Like I said, I've been doing the net for 30 years. We do talk about a little cosmology every now and then. That's one of my interests as well. All depends what topics I happen to pick to talk about. Sometimes it's pretty heady, sometimes it's historical, sometimes it's just whatever is up there. But again, welcome to the net. Hopefully you can stick around. I do go down the list a little bit later on. We have a rocket report that Ed, W6RDZ, will present in a little bit. So if you're interested in rocket launches around the world, please stick around for that. Let's see. I forgot to acknowledge Keaton, KF0WWS, thanks for checking in tonight, and Ed, W6RDZ, thanks for checking in tonight. Anyone else wishing to check into tonight's Colorado Astronomy Net, please call with your call sign phonetically twice.
This is Kilo Zero Mike Charlie Whiskey. Kilo Zero Mike Charlie Whiskey. Tony in Morrison, Colorado.
Okay, Tony, we got you on the list. K0MCW, thanks for checking in tonight. All right, I'm gonna go start off with the bulletins for this evening. I usually start off with ISS passes. I'm trying to get rid of some of this advertisements they show on here. Let me pull that up real quick. Just a sec. If you're interested in ISS passes, you may want to check out this particular website, www.heavens-above.com. That's www.heavens-above.com. Check that website out. I do recommend that you log in or sign up, log in, and enter in your home coordinates for your your location, which makes the data that you're pulling up for a particular satellite or whatever you're looking at more accurate for your location. Right now I'm showing visible ISS passes over the Denver area. The ISS is kind of going into a transition between early morning and late evening. So actually sometime between 1 a.m. to 10 p.m., somewhere in that 3-hour window. I'm looking for a decent pass over the Denver area. I don't see too many of them. Skimming the northern horizon. I'm going to pull up one right now and show you why I particularly like this website. Is I can pull up a nice star chart that I can print out on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Take that outside and see the pass. This one wasn't very good. See the ISS pass and what constellations it's passing through. Looks like Leo Minor and Ursa Major right through the Big Dipper there. This particular one on the morning of July 20th. So next Monday, next Monday evening, I should say, just a very short one. But they may be passing your area over at different times, different altitudes, things like that. Again, www.heavens-above.com for more information on ISS passes. And that's it for that bulletin. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Got an interesting bulletin for a little historical bulletin. We do have our astronomy historian, but hopefully this won't take away from his history lesson tonight. Viking, 50 years on Mars. The first successful lander on Mars, NASA's three-legged Viking 1, touched down safely on July 20th, 1976 at 7:53 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It gave humanity our first ground-level view of the red planet, joined 6 weeks later by its twin lander, Viking 2, and the two orbiters that accompanied them. The Viking mission broke ground on Mars surface exploration 50 years ago, a search that missions have been building on ever since and are carrying into the future. Only 10 years before the Viking mission launched, Mars was still just a mottled orange ball when viewed through even the best earthbound telescopes with few discernible features. 3 NASA missions flew past in the 1960s, snagging grainy snapshots of a sliver of Mars as they hurtled by. In 1971, the Mariner 9 spacecraft arrived and stayed, the first to orbit any other planet besides Earth. It photographed 85% of the Martian surface, revealing enormous volcanoes and canyons never seen before, and evidence that water once flowed across what had been thought to be a barren moonscape. By then, NASA had already achieved the goal of landing not 1, but a dozen men on the moon and returning them safely to Earth. But Mars remained an enigma. Not even a robotic lander had gotten there to show us the view from the ground. It was finally time to dig into the red rocks and see what was there, or had been there millions of years earlier when Mars was warmer and wetter. On July 20th, 1976, the 7th anniversary of the Apollo 11 moon landing, the Viking 1 lander touched down safely on the red planet at 7:53 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The radio signal confirming success took 19 more minutes to travel the 212 million miles to Earth, where the mission team gathered at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Southern California after celebrating the accomplishment, then marveling at the 2 images the lander immediately relayed home. The team got to work. A twin lander, Viking 2, arrived 6 weeks later, touching down on the other side of the planet September 3rd, 1976. The Vikings were actually 2 pairs of spacecraft. The landers teamed with orbiters that ferried the surface craft to Mars, then remained aloft, circling the planet. The orbiters collected their own data, relayed those and the findings of the landers to Earth, and captured images from above Mars far superior to anything Mariner 9 managed only 5 years earlier. More than 52,000 images in all. The landers collected another 4,500 plus, extending humankind's vision to Mars for the first time. The Viking project certified the equipment and methods used to get a spacecraft safely on the Martian surface. A playbook mission followed successfully for decades thereafter, and for the first time humans packed and shipped a self-contained science lab to another world. It took the first measurements in an ongoing search for life beyond Earth, a journey that step by step took us through findings by successive missions. Those built upon each other, leading to recent discoveries by NASA's Curiosity Mars rover of organic compounds that can't be fully explained by non-biologic processes, and by the agency's Perseverance rover of potential biosignatures, clues suggesting the presence of ancient microbial life, which then NASA Administrator Sean Duffy called the closest we have ever come to discovering life on Mars. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net continuing. Even today, those rovers are gathering more evidence, searching more territory, continuing the exploration that Viking began 50 years ago, a pursuit that coming missions will carry into the future and across the face of Mars. And here's another little tidbit. Besides taking digital images and collecting other science data on the Martian surface, the two landers conducted 3 biology experiments designed to look for possible signs of life. These experiments discovered unexpected and enigmatic chemical activity in Martian soil, but provided no clear evidence for the presence of living microorganisms in soil near the landing sites. In order to test instruments for the Viking program, early astrobiologists and exobiologists at NASA traveled to some of Earth's most remote environments, including the dry valleys of Antarctica and the Atacama Desert in Chile. These places are thought to be some of the best analogs for Mars that we have on Earth. And studying life in such locations has become an important element of astrobiology research at Mars. The Viking results also taught scientists a great deal about how little we knew about life on Earth and how to detect it. To this day, the results are helping to shape the development of life detection strategies and equipment at NASA and other international agencies. And that's it for the bulletin for this evening. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. I'm going to go ahead and call on Ed, W6RDZ, for tonight's rocket report. Ed, are you ready to give the rocket report? Go ahead.
Good evening, Ernest. Good evening to the net. If you want to give me a radio check there, I can get started with the report.
Your solid copy into the repeater there, Ed. Please go ahead with the rocket report tonight. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net.
Very well, Ernest, very well. Yes, it's Rocket Man Head, W6RDZ, ready to rocket and roll with the rocket report for Tuesday, July 14th. We're going to be looking back to the 7th and forward to the 21st. It has been a big week in space. SpaceX set the new Falcon 9 landing and recovery record. China lands an orbital class booster. Russia launches a new crew to the ISS, and SpaceX readies for the imminent launch of Starship Flight 13. Last week treated us to 6 orbital launches. The first one on Thursday, July 9th, at 3:25 Mountain Standard Time. SpaceX set new reuse records when they successfully launched Starlink Group 10-42 on a Falcon 9 from pad Split 40, Cape Canaveral, Florida. This was booster 1067's 36th flight. If she makes it to 40 flights, she will beat the Space Shuttle Discovery's all-time record of 39 flights. It was the 80th Falcon 9 flight for 2026 and the 680th successful SpaceX mission overall. I think we should reset the repeater there. July 9th at 22:15 Mountain Daylight Time, China Aerospace and Science Corporation, CASIC, successfully launched and landed the booster stage of the maiden demo flight of their new Long March 10B rocket. With the successful landing and recovery of the 10B booster on the recovery vessel at sea, CASIC joined SpaceX and Blue Origin in the elite Booster Recovery Club. With a seagoing recovery barge much larger than SpaceX or Blue Origin, CASIC gently caught the landing rocket with an elaborate cabled arrestor net and support frame. The disposable upper stage placed some sort of test payload in low Earth orbit. The whole rocket is a bit smaller than the Falcon 9. The landing looked great, except for the big black smoke plume off the top of the booster. The smoke looked to be like burning hydraulic fluid, not venting RCS propellant as CASIC has proposed. And of course, check out the video on the link in the online report. Okay, third launch Friday, July 10th at 21:01 Mountain Daylight Time. SpaceX successfully launched Starlink Group 17-48 from Flight 4G at Vandenberg Space Force Base, California. Another 24 Starlink B2 minis joined the constellation in synchronous orbit. The repeater there. Sergeant Zed back with the rocket report. This for Friday's Starlink Group 1748 launch. It was the 660th successful Falcon 9 launch with the 165th orbital launch of 2026. It was a foggy nighttime Vandenberg launch, but most remarkably, you can still see the rocket and the pad from the ground cameras. All right, fourth launch of the week, Monday at 19:16 Mountain Daylight Time. SpaceX successfully launched Starlink Group 15-14 mission from Vandenberg Space Force Base. It was a glorious daylight, clear sky launch from Vandenberg. Fifth launch of the week today, July 14th at 03:10 Mountain Daylight Time. SpaceX launched Starlink Group 10-45 from Split 40 Cape Canaveral. Launch added another 29 V2 mini high-speed internet satellites to the Starlink constellation. SpaceX manages more than 10,700 Starlink satellites in low Earth orbit. The Flight 600 launch of a reused Falcon 9 booster. All right, sixth launch and last launch of the week, also this morning, Tuesday, July 14th at 08:47 Mountain Daylight Time. Roscosmos successfully launched the crewed Soyuz MS-29 mission on a Soyuz 2.18 rocket to the ISS from Baikonur Cosmic Drome in Kazakhstan. Back with the Colorado Astronomy Net rocket report. We were talking about Roscosmos' launch of the crewed Soyuz MS-29 mission this morning. That went to the International Space Station. The new crew consists of cosmonaut Piotr Trov, Anna Yukinka, and NASA astronaut Anil Minton. The trio spent about 6 months at the International Space Station. Soyuz MS-29 docked uneventfully with the ISS at 11:52 this morning. And over the Mediterranean at an altitude of 260 statute miles and on the docket for the coming week, including the big launch of Starship Flight 13 on Thursday. First launch of the week with SpaceX is scheduled for Thursday, July 16th at 14:32 Mountain Standard Time to launch Tranche 1 transporter layer E mission on a Falcon 9 departing Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. The mission is one of 6 missions by the U.S. Space Force for the Tranche 1 constellation, and it will provide assured, resilient, low latency military data and connectivity worldwide. This platform is in the polar orbit, resetting the repeater. All right, that brings us to the second launch, the big launch news of the week. That the official SpaceX confirmed FAA-approved first launch date for Starship Flight Test 13 is scheduled for the day after tomorrow, Thursday, July 16th at 16:45 Mountain Daylight Time. Thursday's launch window opens at 16:45 and closes at 18:15 Mountain Daylight Time. On July 1st, the upper state ship 20 passed the full 1 minute static fire of all 6 Raptor engines. This week, on July 10th, booster 40 performed a flawless record 22-second full 33-engine hot fire. We are ready to stack. This is the second flight test of the Starship Super Heavy version 3, the largest rocket ever built, and Super Heavy launch vehicle that will make the U.S. moon base and colonization of Mars possible. This will be the 13th Starship test flight and the second of 2026. The flight profile will be very similar to Flight 12, a suborbital with upper stage ship 40 splashing down in the Indian Ocean, and first stage booster 20 making a controlled space splashdown in the Gulf of Mexico. Changes for Flight 13 include the first deployment of 20 upgraded Starlink version 3 satellites, making the first Starlink version 3 base. We'll reset the repeater there. This is W6RDZ back with the Rocket Report. We're talking about the big Starship launch coming up. 6 of those version 3 Starlinks will be fitted with video cameras, so we're expecting some more spectacular footage of deployment. Regarding the fixes for what went wrong with Flight 12, Space.com's Josh Dare reports, quote, according to a new SpaceX analysis, a sequence change in the ship's engines, which ignites the 2 rocket halves physically attached in a maneuver known as hot staging, led to a 90-degree error in Super Heavy's orientation. After, according to SpaceX, I doubled myself there. We had that 90-degree error, and Super Heavy's boost back burn was also cut short when 5 of its first 3 engines failed to ignite. SpaceX says it has introduced a modified startup sequence for ship and hardware updates to the Super Heavy to address the orientation anomaly and ignition issues respectively, along with updates to engine alarms and aborts to match the conditions seen in the multi-engine flight environment. Bottom line, well, it looks like SpaceX has figured out what went wrong and has fixed it. All right, well, there's links to all that information in the online report. Go SpaceX. to the third launch next week, Friday the 17th at 05:20 Mountain Daylight Time. Chinese Space Station is scheduled to launch along March 7A from the Wan Space Launch Site. The payload is not disclosed. Just for ID, this is W6RDC for the Colorado Astronomy Net rocket report. Fourth launch rescheduled for Friday, July 7th at 2300. Indian Skyroot Aerospace plans to launch the Indiana mission as a demo flight for the first launch of the Vikram 1 rocket from Satish Dhawan Space Center in India. This is the maiden flight of India's first commercial private launch vehicle. Fifth launch Monday at 0800 Mountain Daylight Time. SpaceX is scheduled to launch Starlink Group 17-49 from Slick 4E's Vandenberg Space Force Base. Sixth launch Tuesday, July 21st at 15:15 Mountain Daylight Time. SpaceX intends to launch the MRV-1 mission on a Falcon 9 departing Slick 40 Cape Canaveral. The MRV, or Mission Robotic Vision Vehicle, is a satellite servicing payload built by Northrop Grumman, designed to attach to mission extension rods on satellites in geostationary orbit to keep them on station over the course of their life. Okay, that brings us to tonight's space news. The next epic space telescope has arrived in Florida. We'll reset the repeater. This is W6RDZ, back with the rocket report from the Colorado Astronomy Net. All right, so we got an epic space telescope arriving in Florida ahead of its launch on August 30th. The Nancy Grace Roman type telescope, Hubble's approximate replacement, is scheduled for the Sunday, August 30th, to launch on a Falcon 9 rocket going to Earth Lagrange point L2. Hubble and Roman have the same 2.5-meter mirror from the old KH-11 spy satellite program, but Roman's wide-field instrument sees a view about 100 times as wide as Hubble. Roman is a near-infrared telescope operating just below Hubble's optical frequencies. The planet imaging coronagraph built in Pasadena, California, the sky scanning main image instrument built in Boulder, Colorado, and the Hubble-sized main mirror from Rochester, New York, all traveled to the Goddard Space Station in Greenbelt, Maryland, for final assembly. The two major segments were assembled November 25th, 2025. The fully assembled space telescope arrived at Kennedy Space Center on June 30th for pre-flight testing. For more information on this remarkable astronomy instrument, check W6RDC reset. W6RDZ back with the Colorado Astronomy Net rocket report. One more quick item. I just have a link there in the online report. Check out Space's new 30-minute documentary, Critical Path, detailing preparations for Starship Flight 12. All right, that's it for tonight's Colorado Astronomy Net's rocket report. This is W6RDZ Rocket Man Ed, wishing you a good night and nominal flight. Now, back to Starman Ernest, KI0AIAR, Capcom Mission Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net.
This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Thanks for that, Ed. Appreciate you doing the Rock Report as always. So thanks for that. I'm going to go ahead and call on John, W2JLS. Good evening to you, John. What's your history topic, astronomical history topic for this evening? Go ahead, share that with us, please. W2JLS, this is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net.
This is W2JLS, John transmitting from Fairlawn, Ohio. I'll say a big hello to Mission Control Furnace KI0AR and Rocket Man Ed, W6RTZ, and all the listeners out there of the Colorado Astronomy Net. Very sincere keeping on your ears to all of you. Yeah, tonight's story, keeping with the spirit of space exploration. It's like whenever I listen to the Rocket Report, it's like we're still doing this and we're not doing it halfway, apparently. And as Bernard pointed out earlier, with his historical perspective, we're always after something. And the story takes us back some 32 years. To me, in my lifetime, this is one of the most extraordinary stories in modern space history. And I'm sure many listeners will recall, those of you that are old enough to have been paying attention 32 years ago anyway. For those of you that weren't, it's worth letting the story in. For background, I'll say that despite the crux of this occurring this month, 32 years ago, for background, it's worth mentioning it's kind of started in earlier, like 1993 in the spring at California's Palomar Observatory. At that time, there were 3 scientists examining photographic plates from a previous night's observation, and those included one particularly noteworthy figure, planetary geologist Gene Shoemaker, but Gene's wife, Carolyn Shoemaker, and their longtime friend and amateur astronomer, David Levy. These guys weren't looking for history, they were digging for comets, and they were doing what generations of astronomers have always done. They were looking very carefully. Carolyn was like an eagle eye, apparently. She noticed something in the photographic plate. It was not like this brilliant, obvious, spectacular comet, not a brilliant streak across her plates. It was rather just a faint, fuzzy object near Jupiter that didn't quite fit in. It would have been easily dismissed as other professionals looked over her shoulder later. They she spotted this. When she looked, she described it to her husband, saying something like, "I'm not quite sure what I'm seeing, but it sort of looks like it might be a squashed comet." And that careful second look kind of changed the face of things that would take place through time. So that comet, as it turned out to be a comet, became known as Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9, which was the 9th discovered by the Shoemaker-Levy team. So these guys were not difficult to think upon as amateurs. They were doing this very aggressively. They were serious about it. That they analyzed the comet's orbit, they realized something else that was a bit astonishing. This was not an ordinary comet just passing through the solar system. The fact was that Jupiter had already captured it during an earlier close encounter in July of 1992. Another July moment. The giant planet, with its immense gravity, literally tore during that passage the comet, into more than 20 major fragments. A magnificent, as it came to be known, cosmic string of pearls stretching across nearly 1 million miles of space. And when they ran the numbers, every fragment was on the same inevitable path. heading straight towards collision with Jupiter. So for myself, I was a kid in my 20s, and I recall, this being a big news item, and everyone knew these were going to hit the planet Jupiter, but nobody really knew quite what would take place, other than thanks to the Shoemaker-Levy team, we were all going to be watching and paying very close attention. And obviously, by that time, we had means to look at it well. So we all waited for 16 months. Professional observatories and spacecraft teams, everyone was kind of preparing for their job in this. And then between July 16th and July 22nd in 1994, fragment after fragment slammed into Jupiter. For the first time in recorded history, humanity watched a comet collide with a planet. Towering plumes erupting thousands of kilometers above Jupiter's cloud tops. Dark scars so larger than the Earth spread across the face of the planet. And unlike the stories I told last week about the guest star, this time we didn't have to reconstruct history centuries later. We were paying attention, so we captured this. So if you haven't seen it, you really need to go dig it up. You can look at it on YouTube and other places online. What I will say, one of the most impressive of those, you'll actually see that it was bright enough during one of those impacts where it kind of outshone Jupiter itself. So I want to also just take a moment to unpack a little bit about these people that were involved here. So these are pretty remarkable individuals in that they were doing what they were doing. But Gene Shoemaker particularly is considered one of the founders of planetary geology. Some of you space buffs, moon buffs will recognize Gene. He was born back in 1928, but he helped demonstrate that craters on the moon were formed by impacts rather than volcanoes. At the time, those were not known true facts. Those were speculations. So that was part of his life's work. Recognizing that talent, during the Apollo program, Gene was very ambitious and trained with astronauts around Meteor Crater in Arizona and volcanic fields in Flagstaff, teaching them how to look at rocks, so when they got up to the moon, they would be able to study them well. Gene himself dreamt of being the first professional geologist to walk on the moon. And trained to be an astronaut, and he was supposed to do the same, but in 1963, he was diagnosed with Addison's disease. Of ever getting to space with the Apollo mission. But so Gene just spent the rest of his life looking to explore with his wife, Carolyn, at his side, and his colleague, Mr. Levy, as we've already packed, they did a lot of comet hunting. But there's a little bit more to say about this. And as I was doing my research, I might have heard about this in passing, but I did dig into it and found a little bit more out. And I thought I'd share it with you because I'm betting some of you didn't know this. So, Gene, he remained a field scientist literally to the very end. In July of 1997, he and Carolyn, his wife, were out in the Australian outback searching for an ancient meteorite, impact craters that were known to be there. And he's still asking the same questions that inspired his life work. And then, sadly, on July 18th, Gene was tragically killed in an automobile accident there in Australia while returning from the field. Carolyn was with him. He was 69 years old at the time. He died, but Carolyn survived. There is a quiet irony in this, that here he is doing his life and the moon, but the history here has one final surprise. When NASA announced Lunar Prospector mission to end in 1999, a small capsule carrying a portion of Gene Shoemaker's ashes were sent and placed aboard the spacecraft. It was intentionally guided to the lunar surface. So today, Gene Shoemaker remains the only human whose remains rest on another celestial body. Can't quite imagine a more fitting tribute to a man that taught Apollo astronauts how to explore the moon and spend his life researching them himself here on Earth. So with that, this is W2JLS, John in Fairlawn, wishing everyone clear skies and a good evening on your ears. Back to Bernard, AI0AR at Mission Control.
Comment KI6WPK.
KI6WPK. William, go ahead with your comment. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net.
Well, thank you for that wonderful history. I enjoyed hearing the history of Shoemaker leaving. I just wanted to mention that I won an auction in 1994. I won an auction to go to Mount Hamilton and spend the evening with the orbital, the space people up there on the mountaintop, and I was able to look through the 36-inch telescope and see the impact craters from the Shoemaker levee. And I will never get that evening with the technical people and seeing that view. So that's what all I wanted to say. KI6WPK.
All right, Bill, no problems. We got you checked in as well, KI6WPK. Thanks for checking in. And Mark, we got you checked in too, KC8FQV. All right, this is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Yeah, I had my telescope out in the backyard. It wasn't a 36er, it was only an 8-inch scope, John, and saw those impact spots on Jupiter as well. It was quite fascinating to see those the black scars as they rotated around on the planet. So after they had occurred, definitely interesting. So appreciate you sharing that with us. I'll go ahead and pause here to see if there are any more check-ins before I go down the list. Anyone else wishing to check in to tonight's Colorado Astronomy Net, please call with your call sign phonetically twice.
This is N5, ZIQ, November 5, Zulu, BT Quebec. It's more in Houston with the thunderstorms tonight, and we're in and out early. Thanks a lot. See you at 73. Whiskey 2 Hotel Alpha Zulu, Whiskey 2 Hotel Alpha Zulu, here in Albany, New York. Kilo Echo 8 Zulu Romeo Yankee. Kilo Echo 8 Zulu Romeo Yankee. Jeremy, Jonesville, Ohio.
Okay, good evening to you, Moy. N5 ZIQ, stay safe. We got you in and out. Yeah, definitely. watch out for those thunderstorms. Eric, we got you on the list, W2HAZ. Thanks for checking in tonight. And Jeremy in Ohio, KE8ZRY. Thanks for the check-in tonight. That's a new call on the list, so welcome to the Colorado Astronomy Net. To appreciate you checking in. I'm going to go a little backwards tonight. We got Eric in New York. I know it's late there, and we got Jeremy, who was the new check-in. Hopefully you guys been listening in. I do appreciate that. Jeremy, my name is Bernice. That's Bravo Uniform Romeo November Echo Sierra Sierra on the call sign Kilowatt India 0 Alpha Romeo. You've found the Colorado Astronomy Net, so welcome. Do appreciate you checking in tonight. I always like to touch base with my first time check-ins, find out a little bit more about your interest, background in astronomy, whether you're just starting out or you've been doing it for decades like I have, or somewhere in between. I will let you share that with us, and if you've got any other comments for the net as well. KE8ZRY, welcome to the net. Tell us a little bit about your background, interest in astronomy, and anything else you'd like to pass along to the net. Go ahead.
Well, good evening. This is KE8ZRY, Jeremy here in Jeromesville, Ohio. Hope everybody's doing well. This is the first time on the net, as you mentioned. I was just sitting here listening to the radio and happened to hear it come on. It's been interesting listening to the net. Ever since I was a kid, I've had some sort of interest in astronomy here and there. Space is just very intriguing to me when it comes to the planets and other celestial beings that are out there and everything. I was in the military for 5 years, and my MOS was a satellite network coordinator. So I got to deal with satellite communications and such. Toured the Boeing satellite plant in LA, and that was fascinating. It was kind of interesting to learn that the XM satellite radios and the new military satellites that we were launching at the time were on the same platform. The space was intriguing. SpaceX, especially with the advancements and everything that they're doing with rocketry and such, and space exploration in general. It's fascinating. NASA, I was bummed when the funding for NASA got cut, a couple decades ago and such, but now it's back, and I'm kind of happy to see that. So hopefully we can keep pushing that frontier. With that, I'll pass it back to Net Control. This is KE8ZRY. Thank you for checking me in.
All right, Jeremy, I appreciate that. Thanks for your service as well. We've got some vets here as well, including myself, retired Navy myself, though, so I do appreciate your service. Thanks for checking in tonight. Yeah, we got some similar backgrounds. Mine was also with satellite work, both in the military and civilian life as well. So welcome to the net. And stick around. We have a little bit more time left. This is the period where I go down the list and talk with everybody, so you may want to listen in. We'll give you another call. I'm going to go to Eric in New York. I know it's late there, Eric, so I do appreciate you checking in. If you've got any comments for us, questions or comments or observational reports for us tonight, go ahead. W2HAZ, go ahead, sorry.
KI0RA, W2HAZ. I remember
seeing the video of the shoemaker letting a comet going into a Jupiter. I thought it was very fascinating. And I believe I watched the video of it when it actually, or right after it actually happened. And I believe that was back in the 90s. And I was a younger man then. It was very fascinating how much energy was released during that impact. And it was quite fascinating. I guess that's my only comment. Thanks a lot for running the Nappers. W2HAZ.
All right, Eric. Yeah, multiple impacts, tremendous amounts of energy there. 1994. I was how old was I? 37. Looking through my own telescope several nights in a row just to see what was going on with that and how that changed. All right. Appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. This is kind of running a little backwards tonight for our new check-in and our East Coasters there. But right now we're going to go down the list. Anybody else questions, comments, observation reports, anything you'd like to pass along to the net? Now's the time to do it. First on the list tonight is Jack, KE0VH. Good evening to you, Jack. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead. Okay, nothing from Jack tonight, but be sure to check out his flight sim on Mondays and Wednesdays. He's got one coming up tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time over on YouTube. Captain Jack Flight Sim. Check that out. The next on the list is Paul in Utah, WA7GVL. Good evening to you, Paul. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
Good evening to you, Burness. Good evening to the net. Well, it's 78 degrees here in Utah, which is quite a bit cooler than it's been. And we do have some thunderstorms going through with some monsoonal flow. So I've been traveling quite a bit lately, and with the weather, I can't even see the night sky. So unfortunately, we have seasonal monsoons, and this is my favorite time of year because I can go sit out on the back porch and just enjoy the stars, usually with a cigar. So hope everyone has a good evening, and that's all I've got for this. WA7GVL, Cedar City, Utah, home of the dark sky.
All right, Paul, appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. And yeah, be safe for sure. No light in any of those fires. We got enough smoke from everybody else coming from that direction. Let's see. Next on the list, Doug, K0ATP. Good evening to you, Doug. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead. Oh, Doug signed off early. Okay, I'm now looking over there. Yep. John in Australia signed out early as well. VK3HJQ. Do appreciate you guys checking in. We'll go to West Virginia. Rip, K3XO. Good evening to you, Rip. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
That was K3XO, and I
anything to contribute. It was an interesting net tonight, and I enjoyed it a lot. So carry on, and 73-2. Back to you, K3XO.
All right, Rep, appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. Next on the list is Ken in Nevada. NV7SS. Good evening to you, Ken. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead. Next on the list is David in Ohio, WE8M. Good evening to you. David, what have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
Everyone else on the net, this is WE8M. Well, this is the first clear night I've been able to set up C-Star for the last couple of weeks or so, maybe even a month. But we finally got a clear night. I'm trying out the new firmware on the S50, and with the auto plan function, right now I'm imaging the Butterfly Nebula IC 1318b. In about 20 minutes, it's going to change over to the Western Veil Nebula, see what I get from that. So, anyway, just don't have anything more to add. So, back to net. KI0AR in the net. This is WE8M. We ate them.
All right, David, appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. And yeah, I would love to see your images once you get them filtered and all set up and the way you like them. Who knows, maybe even post them in the newsletter if that's all right. I would love to see that as well for sure. But sure you're having fun with that new system there. Appreciate your comments and appreciate you checking in tonight. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Next on the list is Wesley in Kentucky, KF4WLQ. Good evening to you, Wesley. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead. Next on the list is Mark up in Longmont, K0GLR. Good evening to you, Mark. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
I live here in my canyon. I like to see you guys. You come through. It's dabbling, so to speak. Not truly an astrologist or anything by that means. But I enjoy listening to your show every Tuesday night.
All right, Mark. Appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. I'm not much of an astrologist either. I'm astronomer, yes. Astrology, no. A little bit different, just one letter, but it makes a lot of difference there. All right. Let's see. Next on the list is Christopher up in Ontario of VA3CLB. Good evening to you, Christopher. Again, welcome to the Colorado Astronomy Net. What have you got for us tonight? Go ahead.
It really means anything you find out this evening these days. Yeah.
All right, Mark, I think I may have doubled with you, but I do appreciate your comments and appreciate you checking in tonight. Next on the list is Christopher up in Ontario, VA3CLB. Good evening to you, Christopher. Again, welcome to the net. What have you got for us tonight? Go ahead. Okay, he was out there mobile, so hopefully he made it to his destination. All right, next on the list is John in Ohio, W2JLS. Good evening to you, John. Thanks for the nightly history lesson. I do appreciate that. Seemed to have gone over quite well, so thanks for that. What have you got for us tonight? Go ahead.
Hi, 0AR. This is W2JLS. Thanks, Brennan. I enjoyed that, recalling that myself. I was a young scientist in Pennsylvania back then, and would drive from my parents' home in New York to work in Towanda, Pennsylvania, and it was definitely very much something we're paying attention to, as you obviously were with your scope in the backyard. That's really cool. As I sat there reflecting on those days, and it's fun because that's one of those where most of us were alive, and some of the listeners were, it triggered memories, and I think that's kind of neat. For me, I was thinking, while I was recalling that, listening to, what some of the callers were saying, I thought back on other things in that period for me. While I was seeing how that was maybe the most literally impactful comment I've ever seen. Impactful. Hellbop was amazing, also not so impactful physically, but certainly glorious. But I did recall something that's got less to do with space and astronomy, although this man did sing "Fly Me to the Moon." The thing I was going to share was a few months before I saw that comet break up and strike Jupiter, I saw Frank Sinatra, who was still alive, at SPAC, the Saratoga Performing Arts Center, and he did sing "Fly Me to the Moon." Anyway, Bernice, thanks for having me in here tonight. Appreciate you running the net for 30 years. That's just wild. W2JLS, passing it back.
All right, John. Yeah, unfortunately, I hadn't gotten my license back yet. I got that in, I think that was in '94, like you said, and then I didn't get my license again until '95. So I didn't get to touch too much about the Shoemaker Levy. I think we may have done something on the net earlier in those early days, and talked about that when we were looking at comets and such, but didn't get to do that live or sort of live or within a few weeks of it. So I missed out on that. But we've caught quite a few different events over the 30 years for the net, for sure. All right, John, appreciate you doing that. Appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Next on the list is Daniel in Highlands Ranch, KF0WXE. Good evening to you, Daniel. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead. Next on the list is Keaton up in Superior, KF0WWS. Good evening to you, Keaton. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead. Next on the list is Tony out in Morrison, K0MCW. Good evening to you, Tony. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead. Next on the list is Stuart in Nevada, N3GWG. Good evening to you, Stuart. Again, welcome to the Colorado Astronomy Net. What have you got for us tonight? Go ahead.
I will just say I really did enjoy the net. It's a very long net, but definitely all the information was interesting. I'm also a former military. I was a career reservist in the U.S. Navy and worked in space systems for a good portion of that time. I was part of the Naval Reserve Space Warfare Headquarters Command for a number of years and worked out of it at NRO, as well as involved with a number of different interesting projects when I was there. But I worked directly for the Naval Space Cadre Advisor at one point, which is definitely an interesting assignment. And I've been, just kind of to expand on my interest in astronomy. I mean, I at some point in the future do want to get my own telescope and want to see what kind of astrophotography I can do and see what I can look at. But I have to say, with things like Hubble and JWST taking such amazing pictures, I'm not sure that the astrophotography is going to come out anywhere near what I see in other places. But definitely interested in potentially getting my own telescope in the near future. So we will see. But living in Las Vegas is a lot of light pollution, so unless I go somewhere special like that, I'll see as much as I would in other places. I'll let it drop for a second.
Stuart, we lost you there. N3GWG, go ahead. We lost you. You said you were going to drop for a second. You didn't come back. So go ahead.
I'm not hearing anything back from net control, so I'm just wondering if I made the repeater when I made the connection there. Did anyone heard any of that?
Yeah, Stuart, we did hear you. Do you hear me? Over. Go ahead.
I do now. I'm connecting to the net via the YSF reflector on my M1KE. So at different points, I saw first before I heard that transmission from you, I saw your call come up for about 15 seconds, and I didn't hear any audio, and then I saw whole SkyHub come up on my M1KE for about 10 seconds, and I didn't hear any audio. And then I just keyed up, and you just responded now. So I'm not sure if there's a glitch or something going on, but I saw a couple transmissions that didn't seem to have any audio with them at all, and 3GWG.
All right, Stuart. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what went on. Yeah, we. This is an interesting system, the SkyHub Link system we're hooked into, and maybe we're just overheating the wires X repeater or something like that. I don't know. But Stuart, again, welcome to the Colorado Astronomy Net. Do appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Next on the list is Ed, W6RDZ. Good evening to you, Ed, in Broomfield. What have you got for us tonight? Go ahead.
Good evening again, Furnace. Yeah, what I've got for you is a big thank you for putting on the net, doing the net, doing net control, and it's a privilege to contribute. Yeah, that's about it. I also wanted to give a big thanks to John for that Shoemaker Levy 9 presentation. That was a great trip back in the Wayback Machine. I like him. Did witness that. I remember very much anxiously watching the movies of that as those black spots appeared, the flashes on the backside, the incredible luck that we had a space probe, one of our Jupiter probes, that was just approaching the planet and was able to witness that. And the one thing that struck me the most of that, I remember seeing it. I think I saw it with my naked eye on somebody's telescope, but it was a big comet impact. And that turns out they estimate that to only be a 1 in 6,000 year occurrence. So we were extremely fortunate to have caught that. That's all I have, Furnace. 73 W6RDZ, back to net control.
All right, Ed. Yep, some of us were definitely fortunate to catch that. Not only just one piece, but 9 pieces of one comet that broke up. So, yeah, that was definitely neat to see. I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge Roy, KI7PKL. Thanks for checking in tonight. Greg, KC8GW, and Steve, KM6VAY over on YouTube. Thanks for checking in, guys. Let's see, where were we? Mark up in Ohio, KC8FQV. Good evening to you, Mark. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
And I just was listening along and didn't catch everything. I just want to stop in. In many weeks, there's always something going. I just want to send it back to net control and well, see what's happening. Okay, so it's interesting and it's a great thing to have the net logger because if you mention things get site there, and you can go and look at them. You know, the links. So I'll send it back to net control, KC8FQE.
All right, Mark, appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. Next on the list is Bill out in California, KI6WPK. Good evening to you, Bill. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead. Okay, Bill, if that was you on the air there, we got it sounded more like an open mic. No audio, no voice audio. If you want to try again, KI6WPK. What have you got for us tonight, Bill? Go ahead. Okay, don't know what that was all about. Let's see, Moy down in Texas checked in and out, N5ZIQ. So we go to Eric. Let's see, we talked to Eric up in New York and Jeremy. Let's see. Well, we'll just go ahead and ask Eric if you're still hanging around, if you've got anything. W2HAZ, got anything else for us tonight, Eric? Go ahead. And Jeremy in Ohio, KE8ZRY. Good evening to you, Jerry. Jeremy, again, welcome to the net. If you got anything else for us tonight, go ahead.
K8ZRY, Jeremy here in Toronto. So, no, nothing else for the net. I hope everybody has a good evening. It's been a pleasure listening and hearing everybody talk about things in the past as far as space goes. It's always interesting to hear those stories. With that, I'll say 73. This is KE8ZRY.
All right, Jeremy, again, welcome to the net. I appreciate it. Let's see, appreciate your comments, appreciate you checking in tonight. Next on the list, Roy up in Oregon, KI7PKL. Good evening to you, Roy. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
Well, good evening, Ernest and Ed. Yep, I know you have to pick that, but you can't go tonight. Anyway, hey, we're in the midst of some pretty clear weather here. Unfortunately, it's not only easy to go wrong. I was thinking some, combining the stacked images from several nights, and discovered that a couple of nights ago the camera got located is when I was imaging, but boy, you put it together, it really is. So I've lost a couple of things. Oh, I'm so bummed. And tonight, I would like to take the telescope out, but it's smoke. And that's the big thing now. Every year it's getting worse. Smoke from all the wildfires. Usually July is about my best imaging month of the year. That's the way it usually works out. But, I don't know. We'll see. If the wind starts blowing it all to the east, that will work out. But what happens is it kind of circles around and comes in from the west. I don't know. I wonder what the future holds for, just a lot of people doing amateur astronomy around the country. When we're having to deal with all this smoke. Anyway, Chris, I hope your success here has been better than mine this past week. Back to you if you had something to get.
All right, Roy, appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. Yeah, hopefully. We've got tons of smoke out here, unfortunately, in the air. It's cleared up a little bit, but not all that much. It's still pretty hazy. We've got some pretty fair sunsets. Pretty fair sunsets for sure because of the smoke, but it definitely detracts from observing. And we'll find out Monday night. Going to be doing an occultation observation Monday night with the Recon group. So we'll see how that works out. But appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. The next two calls over on YouTube, KC8GW and Greg, and Steve, KM6VAY. If you two gentlemen have anything that you'd like to share with the net, you can post that over on YouTube. But I definitely appreciate you guys checking in tonight. All right, we are at the bottom of the list and well past the top of the hour. This is KI0AR net control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. I'll go ahead and make one call only. For anybody else, questions, comments, late check-ins before I go ahead and wrap up the net for this evening, please call KI0AR now.
This is Kilo Foxtrot 0, Uniform Papa Bravo, Mole in Salida.
Okay, good evening to you, Caleb. KF0 UPB, thanks for checking in tonight. What have you got for us tonight? Go ahead.
Not a whole lot. Honestly, I was actually driving between Gunnison and Salida when the net started. But I did get a chance today to visit Black Canyon of Gunnison National Park for the first time, which apparently is an international dark sky site. I do wish I had had extra time to be able to set up my telescope or camera and do some astrophotography this evening, but I have to be back at work in Broomfield by 9:30 tomorrow. So it is a beautiful park. I'd recommend anybody that can get out there to visit it does so. It's not that busy, especially now with peak heat. Smoke is not as bad as I thought it would be. I suppose it's wind dependent, but yeah, it seems like a cool place to take a telescope and get out there for some dark skies.
All right, Caleb, appreciate your comments, appreciate you checking in tonight. Thanks for sharing that as well. I'll have to mark that down as a spot to travel in and go out and take my telescope and activate the park as well on, for a POTA station or something like that. I'll have to see. But definitely, and drive safe. Definitely drive safe. All right. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the net for this evening. I'd like to thank the 25 check-ins for checking in tonight. Hopefully we'll hear from everybody next Tuesday night for another session of the Colorado Astronomy Net. I'd like to thank the Rocky Mountain Radio League for the use of their repeater systems. Also like to thank the Skyhub Link group for the use of their systems as well. Skyhublink.com for more information on how you can hook up into the Colorado Astronomy Net and several other nets as well that we host. With that, I will say 73 and keep looking up. This is KI0AR. I'm clear.